Morning in their apartment smelled like cinnamon, warm batter, and very competitive orange juice squeezing. Kuru stood over the stove in low-slung pajama pants and his "chemistry is hot" shirt, flipping pancakes like a man who definitely took brunch way too seriously. Akashi was at the counter in glasses and an old hoodie, half focused on his laptop, half focused on stealing berries from the bowl beside him. Kenma sipped from a comically large mug and tapped on his switch. Bakuto, sleeves rolled up, was squeezing oranges with intense athletic precision. "I don't think anyone's ever fought a citrus fruit like that." Bakuto beamed. "You said, fresh juice, like a challenge." Quote. Kenma, without looking up, scoffed. Everything is a challenge to him. Akashi chuckled under his breath, then frowned suddenly at his screen. My editor's gone and rescheduled the entire week. Again. He took another sip of coffee and muttered, more to himself than anyone. "Sometimes I really do think I'd be happier with just him." The entire room paused. Akashi blinked and looked up, catching the way all three of his partners had turned to stare at him like he'd just whispered a demon's name into a mirror. "I met my editor," he clarified immediately, putting his mug down. "Let's not start a group therapy session over it." Kenma slowly raised an eyebrow. Too late. Emotional earthquake detected. Kuru gave a long-suffering sigh, flipping a pancake with exaggerated flair. "Do you know what happened the last time you said that?" Bakuto helpfully supplied. A week of silent spiraling, 3 moody playlists, and Kuru reorganized the cleaning cabinet in alphabetical order. It was meditative. Kuru snapped, mostly at the pancake. Akashi stood up, walked over, and casually leaned his chin on Kuru's shoulder from behind. "You're lucky I think existential brooding is hot," he murmured against his neck. Kuru smirked. "And you are lucky I've emotionally matured enough not to cry into pancake batter." That was actually pretty funny. Kuru turned to him, scandalized. "You told me it was endearing." Kenma shrugged. "Both things can be true." Bakuto dropped into his chair dramatically. "Okay, new rule, no one says, just him, unless it's followed by, and the rest of my extremely attractive, emotionally available, clingy boyfriends who make excellent breakfast." Akashi, deadpan, "That's too long for casual speech." "Noted," Kuru said, handing out plates. "Short version is, no one breaks down alone anymore." Kenma nodded, actually making eye contact. "Agreed." Akashi looked around the table, then back at Kuru. "Deal." Bakuto reached across the table and shoved half a strawberry in Kuru's mouth. "Now shut up and eat your feelings." Kuru laughed, truly laughed, for the first time all week. The pancakes were slightly overcooked. The syrup was everywhere. The jokes came non-stop. And still, Kuru felt more whole than he had in days. The apartment had gone quiet by late evening, wrapped in the soft hush that follows a full day of togetherness. Bakuto had fallen asleep on the couch with Kenma curled on top of him, the Switch abandoned on the floor, some strategy game still humming quietly through its speakers. Kuru, passing by the living room, smiled at the sight. He turned the corner toward the kitchen, and stopped in place. Akashi was standing there, bathed in the warm glow of a single floor lamp. His hair was slightly messy from where he'd tugged at it earlier while editing, glasses gone, arms crossed lightly over his chest. His phone rested on the counter, quietly playing some soft jazz instrumental. Just a piano and a low bass line, slow and aching. Kuru watched him for a beat too long. Akashi turned his head. "Hey." Kuru stepped into the kitchen, slower than usual. "Hey." They stood in comfortable silence for a moment, the music weaving between them. And then Akashi, voice gentle and clear, asked, "Dance with me." Kuru blinked. "What?" Akashi extended a hand. "You heard me." Kuru chuckled under his breath, caught off guard but charmed in the way only Akashi could pull off. "There's no one else here to see you be sappy, huh?" Akashi tilted his head, completely unfazed. "Just the man I love." That made Kuru pause. Not because he didn't know, but because he needed to hear it again. Every so often, he stepped forward and took Akashi's hand. No choreography, no plan. Kuru just rested one hand at the small of Akashi's back, the other lightly clasped in his. Akashi's free hand drifted up to rest on Kuru's chest, fingers splayed like he was grounding him. They swayed. The music was slow, lazy, like a heartbeat between two long-held breaths. "I'm not a great dancer," Kuru muttered. "You're better at this than you think," Akashi said softly. "You feel everything. You just don't always know what to do with it." Kuru exhaled through his nose, a little shaky. "Still feel like I'm too much sometimes. Or not enough." Akashi didn't answer right away. He just pressed closer, resting his forehead against Kuru's collarbone. Then, quietly, "You're exactly right. For me. For all of us. But if you ever forget again." He tilted his head up and looked at Kuru, voice warm and dangerous in the most affectionate way. "I'll slow dance you into submission." Kuru laughed, truly and softly, pressing his forehead to Akashi's. "Promise." Akashi smirked. "Promise." They kept swaying long after the music ended. Neither of them noticed. Hee hee.